Hi, Linda. Let me know when you can hear me. How's it going?
Good. Good. How are
Good.
you?
Good. Excellent. I'm doing well. So, did you have
Well,
a good week?
yeah. Yeah. I didn't have as much time to practice this week because of other stuff
Oh,
going on, but yeah.
yeah, busy week. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so today then, what would you say is your main priority? Kind of thinking about where you're at and, what's coming up in the future and how your voice is feeling right now and all that good stuff. So, what would you say are your primary focuses for today?
So I have two questions that I wanted to
Okay.
ask.
Yeah,
And then I
absolutely.
have um other than that, just continuing to work on things we've been working on, contemporary voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Okay. So my first question is a couple lessons ago, we worked on identifying key um,
Yeah.
from the music, and you sent me a link to some flashcards, and I misplaced that link. I don't
Oh,
have.
okay. No problem at
Wondered
all.
if you could
Okay.
give it to me again.
Sure, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And then what was your second question?
My second question is helping me figure out if um, what sheet music I need for flowers because I think what I have is not. It's like way too high. So it's for
Ah,
some reason it's not the right key or
yeah.
it's in
Sometimes
C,
too,
but
they will write it out where the melody is an octave higher, and it's just
uh,
so that it's easier to read on the
ah,
staff.
well,
So
that
then
might
you
be
just sing it in the octave lower.
okay.
But I also think as a singer, sometimes it's easier to see it where it is because we sometimes get an idea. We're like, okay, when it's below the staff, it should feel like this. When it's on that lower half of the staff, it should feel like this. When it's on that upper half of the staff, it should feel like that. When it's above the staff, it should feel like this. So then if we see it on the page in a different area, our brain gets very confused and we're like, wait, it doesn't feel at all like that. What's happening? So sometimes if you have a pretty good awareness of where your register is in relation to where you're reading notes on the staff, that can be a little bit confusing. So I definitely get where that would be a bit confusing and you go, what? Um, all right, so we'll figure out what key the original's in, what key you're looking at, and if that's the case where they just wrote it an octave up. In songs that males sing, they do that regularly, just because we know that if it's written a certain way on the staff, for males, it's usually actually the octave below what they're actually reading.
Ah,
So that's kind of an interesting thing. So that's a very common thing for songs that males sing. But
okay.
female voices sometimes are like, wait a minute, that's confusing. What is this? So,
Yeah.
because we're not used to seeing that as much,
Yeah.
but that might be the case here. Alrighty, so reviewing that, reading the keys, knowing what key it is, and also how to practice on your own with that and those being able to, go through. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, this kind of fun. It has like a little scoreboard. You can see how well you did in relation to other people who've used it underneath. All right, so there
What's
you
that?
see
Okay, let
that
me
link.
make sure I can get that copied this time.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then here, so that's online. If it's helpful for you to maybe be able to download and print them out and have a handheld, then I just put another link
uh-huh.
that might be helpful. And then here is another little online quiz to practice for you as well.
Okay. Huh, this one The first one's just going around and around and around.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, funny. Yeah, if
Try that
it's not
again.
working. And then this one right here is a PDF that you can just practice with. Um,
Why is this?
that third one down is another online one that you can just go through, so that might be helpful. I really like right here, music theory practice. They have a whole bunch of different helpful tips. So they've got like music note flashcards, solfege, jazz theory. They've got different like chord progressions, um, the key signature, the order of flats, order of sharps,
Hmm.
transposing,
Goodness, there's a lot of stuff.
intervals, a whole bunch of things. So this one here is not just what you asked for. If you go to this page with musictheorypractice.com, it just has a whole bunch of different things that might be helpful. That as we go, you could maybe go back there and see if some of those are helpful. But yeah, if that first link isn't working for you for some reason, it's okay because two down is essentially the same thing on a different website where it's an online
Okay.
like practice quiz on identifying key signatures.
That'd be
That second
great.
one down is where you can get the printable flashcards. If that doesn't work, the fourth one down is printable flashcards as well. And then that musictheorypractice.com has just a whole bunch of different music theory things that you can practice with. So,
Fantastic.
yeah. I'm wondering if do you have like a PDF or something that you could share with me so I can look at the sheet music you're looking at and then I can tell you exactly what's going on with that. Um, you can upload
No.
it. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, do I?
I can scan
Um,
it in for the next time we
oh, right,
meet.
yeah. Um, so, all right. So what key are you looking at there on that piece
C
of
is
sheet
the key
music?
is C.
C. And then
See,
what?
I
Yeah,
identify it.
excellent. And then what note does the melody start on?
Okay, get down to where the actually okay, the note it starts on G and then it goes
G.
up to a high E.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check on that real quick compared to her recording just to be sure. Yeah, give me just a moment. Oh, okay, so you do have a minor.
A minor. I have key is C here, but you
Right, the key signature for A minor actually is the same as C.
oh, okay. Minor key would make sense for this song.
Um, so she's singing her starting note is C.
Okay. So this is wrong.
She goes C E E C E E F E D C E are her starting notes. If your sheet music says G B B G B B C B A G B, then
It's
that's
not
a
even
different
that.
key.
Yeah, this is like totally different then.
Yeah, if you can maybe scan that for me and let me look at that next time, then I can figure out what's going on there.
Okay.
Because she's going, yeah. Yeah, so maybe scan that for me so that I can take a look at it and then I can
Okay.
tell you for sure what's going on there. It
Yeah, I
does
can
sound
do that.
like it's different. So yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see what's up with that. But
Okay.
for now, let me see if I can. Mm, oh, interesting. Let me look here. Oh, this is kind of fun. So somebody has made a little video online where you can see the sheet music and what they're playing, and then it shows you where you are in the song and you can sing along with it. I'm gonna send that through. So I think they might have just like made their own sheet music for it. If you pull that video up, you'll see what I mean, where it's like they have the sheet music where you can visually see it, and then it shows you with a little highlight thing where in the sheet music it is. It doesn't actually
Oh,
have the melody line written out, it just has the piano part written out. But it does have the lyrics, so then you can see where those lyrics fall in the context of
okay.
where the piano is, which is actually a really cool video. So that might be a good one to utilize.
Yeah.
Um, all the ones I'm finding are like Buy It, and then some of them are totally different songs as well.
Okay.
That's where I'm a little confused here. And then I found a piano arrangement as well. But I'm like, piano arrangement is not what I need. If you're practicing with like a chord chart, Chordify would be really useful because it has you play with the actual track. Um, and it shows you exactly what chords you're playing. If you're playing a C chord, an E minor chord, an F chord, F minor chord, D minor chord, whatever chords you're on at that moment, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it'd be helpful to have the melody written out, but I'm not really finding that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. So I did find it on one, but like you're saying, oh, okay. So this is strange. Okay. I Yeah, okay. So if you have the one that I'm looking at, I'm gonna show you with a screen share. Then the starting note of the G is odd. Because she goes do do. She
Yeah, that
sings a
looks.
C, not a G. They wrote
Mm-hmm.
it as well, blue skies and hillsides, where she sings C E E. So she doesn't jump as far, but this one is just written the octave up. So that might be what you have. So yeah, it's the
Okay.
situation where they wrote it the octave up, but they
Okay.
did a bigger leap. So the melody is not exactly the same as what she sings, but it's very so that would at least give you kind of like a little guide. But
Okay.
just know that it's the octave up, just because it's easier to read and write on the
Okay.
paper.
Yeah,
Um,
that is
yeah, so
what I
I
have right there. So I'm not going to scan this for you
yeah,
then.
yeah. Okay, good. All right, so that's what's happening there. And it looks like there's not like an official version of hers yet. So all of the versions online right now are just some random person put their own together. So it's not actually like her original version. So she probably just wrote out like a chord chart and some words and she just sings and plays it and makes it up.
Oh,
There's not actual like official sheet music out yet. Um, which just means it probably is just too new of a song or they just haven't done that. So that's I feel like pretty normal for contemporary music. That it's like they
okay.
just sort of write it with a keyboard or a guitar and just make it up kind of a thing. And so, yeah, and they do it more by ear, we call it. And so they'll write out the chord progression and then they just remember the melody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully these things will be helpful. I do think that YouTube video is really helpful because you can watch like where the strong beats fall, where the words come into play with what they're playing
Oh
on the
yeah.
piano.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
that could be a
All
cool one
right.
to work with because it is her same key as well. So
Okay.
yeah, and they
So just
play out the actual melody too. So yeah,
all
so
right.
hopefully that's helpful. Alrighty, so we've been doing
So
a little bit of music theory, a little bit of stuff like ear training and sight singing, a little bit of working on your vocalizations. So the voice is feeling good, yeah?
yeah, it's fine. Just a
Good.
reminder, I won't be able to meet the next three
Okay.
Saturdays
All right,
because
great. Yeah,
yeah,
summertime
that's stuff going on.
is a funky time. Yeah. My student
Okay.
before you on Saturdays, he last week and today he couldn't meet and he was like, "You know what? My schedule's crazy right now." He's like, "Can we just like take just put pause and I'll reach back to you in like a couple weeks and we'll hook back up." So I know it's just that time of year. So the 5th, 12th, and 19th.
Yeah.
Looks like I already have it on my calendar. So
All
you
right.
did a great job of
Okay.
keeping me in the
All right.
loop, and then I've got you back on the 26th. Perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So,
Okay.
you're feeling really comfortable with reading the key signatures now, yeah?
Um, I need to
Much
practice more, which
better?
is
Yeah.
why I wanted the but
All
I've
right. Okay.
listened. I
You've got
tell
the
you, I've listened
resources
to
now
that
to
lesson we did
practice.
several times, so I got the
Perfect.
principles in my head.
All good. All right, great. So you've got the key signature practice resources now. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So then let's play a little bit with things that you are going to regularly hear with certain keys. And also, I mentioned the relative minors and whatnot. We'll get into that later. So for now, just really work on those majors. Once you figure out the major key, then you can figure out what the minor is from that. So first get really strong in being like, this is my major key. So let's
Okay.
work with major keys with ear training today to kind of tie into that. And we'll
Okay.
go through what that major scale is going to sound like, what those major chords are going to sound like, and we'll go through some basic progressions of what you usually hear in your major keys. One thing that was very, very helpful to me in getting very strong in my ear was I had Mr. McSpadden was my music theory teacher at the time. He was great about having us sing the things that we were learning with music theory, which is interesting because he was a pianist. But being
Hmm.
able to sing through those things helped me a lot and made everything really click for me. So he would just drill like chord progressions and singing through them, which is interesting because as a pianist, you just play all the notes at once, right? You hear
Uh-huh.
everything all at once, where it's like, all the notes together. But as a singer, we sing melodies, right? One note at a time. So he would have us go through and do, we would sing each note in the chord progression. So instead of the block chord of like C, E, G together, and then F, A, C together, G, B, D together, and then back to the one chord, he'd have us sing out each note in each chord. And my ear got really, really strong while working with him. So he was a very sweet person and he was a great teacher. I loved working. All right, so we're gonna go through that major scale first. We do these all the time actually in our vocal exercises. I'll have you do like the 5 note major scale, right? Or we sometimes will, if I give you a more challenging one, the full scale. Yeah. And you can do that same scale starting on any note on the piano. It doesn't have to be right where I just played it. I can take the same scale. And we're used to hearing that major scale, that major key. That's what we hear most of the time in the Western world. And that's what we like. And we hear that and we think it's happy, it's uplifting, it's a positive experience, right? And so the way we identify that is based on the distance between the notes in the order. So we have half steps and whole steps. So if you look at a piano keyboard, I'm going to pull one up and share it with you so that you can be visualizing this with me. So we will look at a piano keyboard momentarily. Alrighty. Okay, I'm just going to open up this picture nice and big. And then we are going to use that. Alrighty, sharing with you now. Great. Okay, so when I am looking here, I see the notes on that keyboard. So let's say we're doing that C scale. I start on the C, and you see I have these black keys, right, on
Mm-hmm.
the keyboard as well. So these are actual notes on the keyboard. We just, for a major scale that starts on C, we're going to stay on C. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes in the scale, and then I'm back to the C, right? So when I look, if I go C to D, it's actually got a note in between, right? So half steps are going to take me from C to that black key above, to the D, to the black key above, to the E, to the F, to the black key above. Those are half steps. A whole step is going to be C, skip over that black key to the D, skip over that black key to the E. Now, what if I need a whole step up from E because F is right next to it? I'm actually going to go to that black key between F and G for a whole step.
Ah.
A whole step is 2 half steps.
Ah.
So for this major scale, our pattern is going to be whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And that's what we're used to hearing. So if I write this into the chat, it's whole, half, whole, half, and then you just are back at where you started. And you can do that starting anywhere. So let's say we're doing a D major scale. If I start on that D, I do whole step to the E, whole step to the F sharp, half step to the G, then I go whole to the A, whole to the B, whole step to the C sharp, and then a half step to the D. All right, so that's where we get into using those black keys because sometimes we need them to get that pattern that we're used to hearing for that major mode or major, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's a mode, major scale. So you'll hear people say scale or mode. Mode is, I think, the more specific way of saying it. We can get more into modes. In the Western world, we basically have 2 main modes, major and minor. We do, though, have 3 different kinds of minor, though we have one type of minor that's the most popular. So it's all based on those modes or scales are based on the distance between the keys in the order, so the pattern that they have. So we're focusing on that major scale, whole, half, whole, half. That's going to be the pattern. And then if you reverse that, if you come back down, it's going to, if you started on the C above, you go half, whole, half, whole, right? So it just stays in that. If I do something different, my ear's going to go, what? That was unexpected. And so we call those accidentals because our ear is like, was that an accident? Though I might have done it intentionally. All right, so I did mention with these black keys sharps, and then we also have flats, right? So let's go over a little bit of that too. So if I said A sharp, I'm going to go to the A. Sharp always means I go up. Sharp always means I go one note to the right. So A sharp is not going to be B. It's going to be the black key up from A in between A and B. If I say F sharp, it's going to be F sharp, F one note higher. One note to the right is going to be that black key between F and G. What about if I said B sharp? There is no black key there, right? So a B sharp actually is the same thing as C because it's a half step
Ah.
above the B. So B sharp and C are the same note, right? We also actually have something that's a little confusing called double sharps. Instead of seeing the hashtag or the pound sign, you actually see an X, and that means double
Mm.
sharp. So F double sharp is going to be the same as G because it's two half steps. So F sharp and then F double sharp is going to be G. E double sharp is the same as F sharp. So if I see E with the X next to it, it's going to be E F sharp, two half steps above. So that's with sharps. What about flats? If I had D flat, I'm going to go to the D. I'm going to go a half step below. So not a whole step. So that's going to be the black key between D and C. Flats are always to the left or lower. So D flat is going to be that note between D and C. G flat is going to be the same as F sharp, right? Because I go G, half step to the left, half step down. It's going to be that black key between F and G, which is also F sharp. So F sharp and G flat are the same thing, which is like, oh, okay, interesting. Alrighty, so that's all the theory I'm going to give you for right this moment. We're
Okay.
going to do some ear training. For me, I always found it helpful to have the visual of the keyboard while doing these particular exercises. So I'm going to keep that up there. So we're going to sing through that major scale. For right now, we're just going to go through on, let's just do the VVV for now. And we'll start on the C. And I'll tell you what we're starting on that's going to help with things like relative pitch and even possibly developing perfect pitch. So, starting on our middle C, and we're just going to do it on V, 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 V. Let's just do a 5-note scale for right now that we do usually. So, it's just going to go C, D, E, F, G, and then come back down. So, we go V, 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 V. That's our G, and we go back down. V, 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 V. All right, that's our 5-note major scale. Now we're going to go all the way up to the C above, so the octave. And then we'll take a breath and we're going to do that descending major scale. So all the white keys on the way up. 1, 2, here we go. V, 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 V. Take a breath, back down. V, 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 V. All right, so that's your C major scale, the full octave. Now we have something called solfege that people use to help with learning these patterns. So this was actually developed long, long ago to help with mode singing. So major is a mode, but it also has another name for way, way back when. And we'll get more into that later. But instead of doing solfege, I'm going to have us do numbers instead. Numbers I think of as like a halfway point between the note names and the solfege. So we're going to practice on numbers. So let's see if I can find a keyboard that has those numbers written out for you. Alrighty, images. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so this would be more like practice on-site singing after you already know the numbers technique. So I'm going to save that for a moment. That's for rhythm or, okay. Alrighty, so I'm just going to do this with you because I'm like, I'm not finding exactly what I want to see to show you visually. Maybe I just have to make it myself. That's all right. All right, so we will go back to our piano keyboard that we had before because I think that's going to be the most helpful for right now. And I'm actually going to give you a slightly different keyboard that shows the sharps and flats as well, so you have a visual of that. Here we go. Alrighty, so you can see the C D flat, C sharp, same thing, right? You can visualize that. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do here, because we're doing a C scale, is C is going to be 1. We have 7 notes in a scale, right? So C is the first note of the scale. That will be 1. And then D is our second note of the scale. It will be 2. E is the third note of the scale. It will be 3. F is the fourth note of the scale. It will be 4, right? So then G is the fifth. A is the sixth note of the scale, and B is the seventh note of the scale. And then C is going to go back to the 1. Even though we're the octave up, it's the 1 note of the scale. All right, so we're just going by scale degrees. We're saying this is the first note, the second note, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so forth. Right? So when we sing on numbers, what's cool about this is I can say, okay, we're going to start it on C and do numbers. Then I can say, okay, let's start on A and do numbers. We do the same number pattern with the same distance between notes with that whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I just give you a starting note and you know to sing that scale pattern. So this can be very helpful. So we're going to start on C and do numbers on that 5-note scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll come back down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now I'm going to give you random notes, and we're going to do that 5-note major scale, starting on different random notes with the same distances between. All right, so what if I give you this note? That's our 1 now. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. What if we started here? That's our 1 now, okay? Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, those are all major 5-note scales and using numbers. So that's a way that I want you to practice this week. Give yourself random starting notes on the keyboard, like start on a B flat. What if we start there? What is that going to sound like? It's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you find another random note on the keyboard and you try to sing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and you just stay in that major 5-note scale on numbers. And that way you don't even have to figure out like, oh, okay, if I start on G, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, right? I don't have to go through the pattern. I just go, okay, I'm going to sing that auditory pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, starting from the G. If I do the full scale, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? So what if I did start on the G, right? If I go through and I figure out the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, it's all white keys except F is going to be sharped. That's the only difference. But if I start on that G and I do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, yeah, let's try that one. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Yeah, exactly. Good. So I don't have to figure out exactly what notes they are. I don't have to know the sharps or flats. All I have to know is that auditory pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm like, oh, there's my major scale, right? So that's how we translate what we're seeing in the intellectual part into an auditory exercise. So I want you to start playing with that this week, just that much, okay?
Yeah,
Gives you
will do.
another thing to work with. And if you we'll save it for later. I think when we were doing some sight singing, we touched on that a little bit. But I'd love to explore more of the modes and chord progressions that are common in different types of modes. So right
Okay.
now we're just going to focus on major and just getting it where it's like you instinctively just someone says this is your key and they give you that one chord and you're like, I know exactly everything I need to know about this key. It just clicks for you. So, yeah, so we're going to really
All right.
marinate in those major keys for right now. Beautiful.
Great.
I'd love to dive into our song a little bit today, too. I want to hear where it's at. So, why don't we try? Ooh, actually, you know what? What if we use that link I sent to you where it's the piano accompaniment where you get to use the visual and it also has your
Okay.
lyrics there? We can practice with that today. So you'll be singing it by yourself without the singer,
Ooh,
but you also, it's that YouTube link that in the chat that I sent it. I don't know, it was the one, two, three, four, five, the sixth link just above the whole half, whole half comment. Um, if you take that link, it's going to play just the piano. You won't actually have her singing. Do you want to try with that today and just see how it goes? Do you want to try
uh,
with her first and then maybe
yeah,
practice with that
probably.
one? Yeah, especially since you're like, I didn't have a whole lot of time to practice this week.
No.
So here's the
Yeah.
lyric video version, her official one. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, there we go. There we go. So here's her official lyric video. So you can practice with her. And then this week, let's have you try with the piano accompaniment video that has the lyrics there for you as well. And then we'll try it
Okay.
next time. Yeah,
All right.
you'll have a few weeks to practice with that. So I'll get to
Yeah.
hear after that. But you might be busy, you know, doing summertime fun things. So
Yeah.
that's okay too.
All
We
right.
only have so much time. I get
Yes.
it. All right, so let's
Yeah.
try it with her.
Okay. So I will, you want me to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. What blue skies and hillsides feel so far away. I wrote in my notebook that I've seen better days than the ones as of late. I can't bear the weight. The rain won't stop pouring out my window pane, and I haven't left my bedroom in 76 days. I wish something would change, 'cause I'm losing faith. So I brought it up in a desperate prayer. Lord, why are you keeping me here? Then he said to me, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding a watering can. And someday you'll see the flowers grow in the valley. So whatever the reason, I'm barely getting by. I'll trust it's a season, knowing that you're by my side every step of the way. And I'll be okay, 'cause I brought it up in a desperate prayer. Lord, why are you keeping me here? Then he said to me, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding a watering can. And someday you'll see the flowers grow in the valley. When I'm on the mountain and looking down below, I see a valley of flowers that needed time to grow. And I'll thank you for the rain, the hurt and days of pain. And I'll bring it up in a desperate prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for keeping me there. You know just what I need. And you planted seeds, 'Cause you're a good God with a real good plan, and you hold my world in a watering can, so I can have peace. 'Cause flowers grow in the valley.
Nice. Okay, so what was feeling good about that?
Um, let's see. I think I got better as I went along, and I think the chorus sounded pretty good. I
I
thought.
agree. Yeah. Yeah. And part of that can just be kind of like warming up into it, getting more focused here because we're totally focused on other things. Um, yeah, so what would you say if you were going to say the number one thing that you were like, I thought this was pretty good? Would it be that chorus that you're like, that felt pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so thinking about things like how's my posture and alignment? How's my breath? How is the vocal tone? How's my phrasing? Thinking about all these things we focus on, diction, what would you say would be the number one thing that you're like, this could use a little bit of work?
Um, I thought more, would you call it tone? Like it, yeah, the tone, the more the
Okay.
straight tone.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So focusing more on the vibrato, because we have worked a lot more on that classical style in the past, or like, a legit classical musical theater vibe. And so then when we're switching over here to more contemporary styles, this is a little more of like, I almost think like a close to like a Celtic womany kind of style. Like it's a little bit folk
Hmm.
style to me. And so it's going to have less vibrato there, but it still has this lovely um like floating tone. I think it does still have some warmth to it. It just has a minimal vibrato, right? And I think there are moments where you can definitely use vibrato here, but we're going to have a lot less of it, right? So how do we sing with more or less vibrato? What do we do to do that? What do you think about?
Well, you told me once that you kind of tighten up in the, what would you call it, vocal folds
Hmm.
more.
Okay. So I probably don't think I'd use that particular word just
Okay.
of because I don't want to kind of lead myself into like a oops, I didn't mean to fall into that, right? So tightening is a word I don't like to use
You don't
with
like
singing in
tightening.
general. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would say is like with more vibrato, maybe I have more of an open, expansive
Okay.
passage for that air. And then I'll maybe narrow that
Narrow.
passage. I have more
Okay.
control. And so I might have said constricting because your veins can constrict or expand, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think tightening is not going to necessarily serve us
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. In general.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I would probably, yeah, so what is vibrato? Right? Vibrato is the natural slight oscillation in pitch. And sometimes volume is involved with that too, and your voice is very relaxed and also supported. It's not something you really add with your throat. It happens when the voice is just very free, right? So we're
Okay.
not controlling it as much. So if
Mm-hmm.
I want to sing with less vibrato, with more straight tone, I could imagine more of like a speech-like quality there. If I'm talking, there's less vibrato, right? So if I think speaking it and then just sustaining, talking, right? I'm gonna have less vibrato. You can also think about maybe aiming your pitch like a laser more. Think like you're really trying to impress like a vocal tuner app or you're playing like garage band and it's like I have to be perfect, perfect, perfect in pitch. And it's like I can't really have any natural oscillation. So it's like very controlled. So if I say yeah and I pick a pitch, yeah, I want to stay like that laser pointer and like I'm just like a computer making the sound. Yeah. So it's just a lot more focused, a lot more controlled. So why don't you try that talking a phrase? So hello, and then try singing, just sustaining on that hello. Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now try sustaining even longer. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so we already have less vibrato there. Now think of like you are a computer making a pitch or you're trying to like really impress that vocal tuner app and that laser pointer. So say yeah on a pitch. So yeah,
Yeah.
good. Now sustain a little more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that air I'm imagining is like that laser pointer, like a dartboard's right in front of me, and that air is tied to the end of that dart, and it just zoom right to that center of the dartboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right at the end, you got a little more freedom, a teensy bit of vibrato in there, but I didn't mind that at all. The first part, you had that more straight tone. And I think for contemporary styles, that could be very stylistically appropriate, where it's a little more controlled, and then as I like sustain longer on the pitch, you'll hear a little vibrato at the end of the sustain. Yeah, so play with that this week. I would say it's more
Okay.
control.
More control. All
Yeah,
right.
so when I have more vibrato, I'm more expanded. My voice is more free to kind of vibrate around. It has more freedom.
All right.
Yeah, or yeah, it's a lot more controlled. Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
purposely kind of laser pointing it. I'm having more control in here, and maybe that space kind of narrows to have a little more control is the feeling.
Okay. Okay.
So play with
Great.
that over the next
Will
few
do.
weeks. I think you
Okay.
have plenty of fun things to work with now between
Yeah.
now and then. And if you need some guidance on like how do I work on these things, just send me a text and I'm happy to send you some resources, okay?
Well, thank you, Vandi. Appreciate it.
Wonderful
All
work today,
right.
Linda.
Thanks.
Keep
Take
up the
care.
great work and I'll see you
Okay.
soon.
All right. Great. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.